If you would have told me about the Moro arc a few years ago and told me all of this stuff happened, Goku and Vegeta join the Galactic Patrol and are introduced to Mieris. Ancient powerful villain with unique design is revealed, one who escaped his prison. Goku and Vegeta travel the universe stopping criminals, visit planet Namek. Goku and Vegeta both almost die. A super Namekian is formed and he dies. Buu becomes visible again and the Great Lord of Lords is resurrected. 3 wishes from the Namekian Dragon Balls are granted. Vegeta goes to Yardrat and learns spirit control, instantaneous movement, and a new technique, spirit fission. Goku gains a new sensei, Mieris, and learns Ultra Instinct Omen at will. Vast enemies invade Earth and the Z Fighters gather to fight them off. Goku enters a new room of spirit and time to continue training. Moro fuses with the planet, becomes a giant galactic bomb. The Angel Mieris sacrifices himself for Goku. Goku achieves mastered Ultra Instinct at will, and then we see Kid Oob lend his power to Vegeta, who lends it to Goku, who turns into a giant Susanoo made of Ultra Instinct energy, crushes Mountain Moro, and then shatters the gem in his head to save the entire galaxy.
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm talking about the Moro arc, an arc that has lasted 2 years in the Dragon Ball Super manga, where literally every single Dragon Ball trope you could imagine came to fruition. New forms, new ancient villains, traveling throughout the universe to different planets, new senseis, power-ups. It all came true, and it's finally over after 2 years. Now, we've been reviewing each chapter week after week here on the channel, but after 2 years with all of the events that went down, it's time to go back and look at this arc. Was it good? Was it bad? Where did it go wrong? Stay tuned, that's coming up right after this. Today's video is brought to you by Bokksu. It's a box from Japan. So it's Bokksu, Bokksu, Bokksu. Bokksu. Each of these beautiful orange boxes is full of delicious gourmet Japanese treats and snacks which are handcrafted in Japan and mailed right to your door once per month. It's like eating a cloud. That's yummy.
It's like chocolate inside of the cookie. It's really good.
Every box comes with a 20-page culture magazine that details every single snack for you with a description of its origins and its allergens. Every month you'll get a different theme so you never get tired of experiencing authentic Japanese flavors from all 4 seasons. It's a must-have for any anime fan, and I think you guys will love getting a little taste of Japan from family-run businesses sent right to your home. Get 10% off your own authentic Japanese snack box, Bokksu, and save up to $47 by clicking my link in the description and using code MASTAR10 at checkout. The Moro arc started extremely quickly after the Tournament of Power. As we know, the Tournament of Power finished up in the anime first, but here in the manga they had to do some catch up, and the way that it ended was slightly different. As Goku was in a clinch with Jiren, he was hanging on for dear life and about to be knocked out when Frieza appeared and shot out a giant death ball down at them. Goku, on his last limbs, basically grabs onto Jiren, kind of like he did with Raditz, held him in place, and as Jiren is able to deflect the death ball, Frieza flied in and knocked them both off, and as they're all getting eliminated, we see that Android 17 was hiding under the rubble, becoming the winner and wishing to restore all of the universes. They very quickly skipped over the Broly movie, but admitting that it did happen in the manga, it was just a 1-page panel they released, and then they moved on saying time had passed. Goku and Vegeta are training in the gravity chamber when they get a call from Bulma that some weird strangers have arrived and they're trying to steal Buu. Now, the introduction to Mieris caught fans off guard very quickly because he was able to get behind Goku and Vegeta and zap them with his ray gun, or basically knock them out. And this was like one of the beginnings of fans getting really frustrated with the manga. In fact, they were a little bit frustrated with some things in the Tournament of Power, like Master Roshi basically using Ultra Instinct. Time and time again, we're going to see throughout the Dragon Ball Super manga, in this arc in particular, fans getting really outraged, but later on it getting a decent explanation. That explanation in this case is that Mieris is an angel. So basically, Mieris explains that this ancient enemy has escaped from the galactic prison. We have been introduced to Jacko since the beginning of Dragon Ball Super, but we haven't really heard too much about the Galactic Patrol, and so it was kind of nice that this Galactic Patrol, Galactic Prisoner arc came to fruition because it was an element of the story that hadn't really been filled in yet, and in this case, for this arc, it gets entirely filled in. We get to learn everything pretty much we need to know about the Galactic Patrol, and we get to learn about this ancient enemy that the Great Lord of Lords fought 10 million years ago, and so Moro is extremely old, and he was able to seal off his magic after this insane battle that they had, keeping Moro in this prison. But Moro somehow was able to regain a little bit of his magic back, enough to escape the galactic prison. They never really explained why he was able to gain some of his magic back. It could have had something to do with Evil Boo dying and him getting resurrected into Oob. That's a possibility. But regardless, we see how Moro is able to essentially just eat planets and eat energy. This is unlike anything we've seen out of Dragon Ball. We've seen people like Beerus and even Vegeta back in the day able to destroy planets, and Frieza. So many people can destroy planets with the flick of a wrist, but never somebody really just consume a planet in its entirety and gain its power. The most close resemblance would be basically Dragon Ball Z Movie 3, the Tree of Might, as Turles is able to plant the Tree of Might. It creates a fruit that essentially drains the planet and he's able to eat it. We've seen Goku use Genki Dama, which draws energy from the planet. So some similar sorts of things, but nothing to this scale of Moro, who's able to just fly out in space and just eat a planet. So that should give us some sense of how powerful this guy actually is. And basically we learn that Beerus is trying to get the great Lord of Lords to come out of Boo or help them basically seal off his magic once again, which we're going to learn later is actually futile. Goku and Vegeta reluctantly join the Galactic Patrol. Goku obviously wants to fight strong enemies, and if Moro is powerful, that's going to get him excited. So far, so good. Everything's in line, it's making sense, it's playing true to the story, and fans already by this point, by the arc just starting, were already getting really excited with the world building of the Dragon Ball Super manga. We were all giving it high praise that this is a fresh new arc, as Goku, Vegeta, and Beerus travel through space, stop some criminals, and that's when Goku locks onto Moro's ki and they finally reveal his face, and he is this old looking goat. And we learn that he's actually heading towards Namek, which is at a secret location, so he's probably going for the Dragon Balls. Luckily, Goku can use instantaneous movement and he returns to Namek before Moro is able to get there. And very quickly we get the confrontation between Moro, Goku, and Vegeta. We're very surprised at its form, and fans at this point, including myself, again, praised Moro's design because he's very different looking. It's not the traditional Cell face, which they actually end up returning to later. It's not just some bald head. It's something unique that we haven't really seen out of Dragon Ball. This goat who's surrounded in a cloak and immediately tries to drain the energy of a poor little Namekian, and Vegeta saves the Namekian. Now, a lot of fans were putting some side-by-sides as to how Vegeta's past. He was the killer of Namekians during the Namek Saga, and now he's actually saving them. So this arc begins Vegeta's redemption as a killer. He calls himself later in the series a villain, but several times throughout this arc he tries to reestablish himself as trying to make up for all of the bad things he's done in his past. Now, as Vegeta begins to fight Moro in Super Saiyan, he's not really a match. Moro is able to dodge Super Saiyan Vegeta's attacks, and he's also able to use his telekinesis magic to basically just slam Vegeta all over the place. So Vegeta's option is to turn into Super Saiyan God. This way he's able to move so fast that he can dodge essentially the telekinesis. And later Goku's going to learn that he can basically use speed to dodge Moro's magic. So Vegeta, turning into Super Saiyan God, goes in and he's actually finally able to land a hit on Moro, but they're already establishing how strong Moro is, and considering the fact that Vegeta has to go God to even land a single hit on this guy. So far we've seen two powers of Moro's magic. He can eat planets and he can use telekinesis. And now we get to see a third magic spell he can use where he can basically use the energy from a planet and use it as an attack, which will not drain his own stamina since it's not his own energy. And he's able to basically like make these lava beams and stuff come out of the ground and start attacking Vegeta, who simply dodges. Now, these beams of energy, of Namekian energy, are way too strong for Vegeta. He's even getting knocked around by them, so he has to dodge those as well by transforming into Super Saiyan Blue. And by going into Blue, he's getting faster, he's getting stronger, he's dodging all of these life energy beams from the planet that Moro's flinging at him, and he's able to land a powerful kick into Moro's gut. And we get to see Moro take some damage off the bat. So right now you're thinking as you're reading this, well, he's not so bad, but then for some reason, Vegeta just turns back into his base form. And we learn that this guy's power is so OP, you can't even see him draining energy. He's just draining energy from the entire planet and all of the beings on it. So Goku and Vegeta, they get sucked so dry that they can't even transform. Goku at one point, he can't even use instantaneous movement, and as Moro eats this energy, he begins to start looking younger and powering up more. So automatically, this just is seemingly such an overpowered ability. He doesn't even have to be touching you. He doesn't have to land anything. If you're just near him, he can just drain your energy. So right off the bat, you're like, how can anybody beat this guy? They really do need the great Lord of Lords. And Goku and Vegeta get absolutely slaughtered, and very, very quickly. In only one chapter, they're already basically near death as Moro grabs their necks and sucks the last little bit of energy out of their bodies to the point where their eyes are white and they honestly look dead. I mean, you were thinking that Goku and Vegeta should be dead at this point, and Moro, he doesn't really care to finish them off, even though they're on their borderline death. The thing is, he's going to go drain the entire planet of energy anyways, so they're going to die eventually, I guess, when the planet crumbles or when he does that mass energy vacuum from space. Now, this is the first of 2 times that Moro just leaves Goku and Vegeta to escape and basically come back later on down the road. This is one of his many mistakes, but we'll see as this continues, Goku and Vegeta also make plenty of their own mistakes, which was a source of criticism throughout this arc. Now, Goku and Vegeta, because they're on the Namekian planet, there's a little Namekian child that can heal them, and they're still very weak. They've been knocked out for 3 days while Moro is traveling around Namek getting the Dragon Balls. Now, he only has 3 or 4 Dragon Balls after 3 days. It seems like with his power, he could have easily searched the entire planet in a single day and just gotten all the Dragon Balls, but for whatever reason, they're giving Goku and Vegeta an out here as we see a Super Namekian being formed. Now, we're kind of exposed to this in the Tournament of Power, as we saw the 2 Namekians that were fighting, Gohan and Piccolo, had basically absorbed countless Namekians, fused with them in order to create Super Namekians. Now, apparently this is how the Namekians had survived throughout the years, throughout the millennia, basically by creating a super warrior that can fight off any enemy. My question is, why didn't they do this on the Frieza saga? Nail was very powerful, but Nail could have fused with 100 other like warrior type Namekians, and he probably could have been as strong as Frieza or beaten him. I don't know why they didn't do that. Perhaps Frieza had so many minions that all of the warrior type Namekians were fighting off Frieza's minions. They never got a chance to fuse up against a single enemy like this. But regardless, their super warrior just gets owned. You think it's going to be this epic moment, and he flies in and he just gets one shot stabbed through the gut. And this is really starting to seem like the Frieza saga, the Namek saga all over again. And you'll see throughout this arc many times that Toyotaro begins to take a lot of elements from the various arcs, particularly the Namek saga and the Cell saga. Beginning, it's the Namek saga, and then it really goes hard into the Cell saga later. Now, at this point, fans don't really have too much of a problem with what's going on. It's still pretty fresh regardless, and we still have no idea how Goku and Vegeta can defeat an enemy like this who has powers that they've never really encountered before. And now the mysterious Mieris comes in to help out. He's got rocket boots, he's got all these gadgets, and he's a pretty cool character nonetheless. He's able to use some sort of net gun that they created, and it's able to pin down Moro for a little bit, but he knows it's not going to last a long time. He's just trying to hold down Moro for long enough that Boo will wake up, and basically Boo, or inside of him the Great Lord of Lords, can come out and defeat or seal off the magic of Moro, who eventually breaks out, and now we have the showdown between Boo and Moro, and it's actually really good. It's not what you'd expect. Boo, who at the max should be somewhat similar to a Super Saiyan 3 level of power or a little bit over Super Saiyan 2, is able to completely annihilate and decimate Moro because Moro can't drain his energy. So explaining that in the earlier fight, when Vegeta was Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue, his attacks were dulled down heavily because he was getting drained so much. And it's actually really cool to see Boo being relevant again. At one point, he even just has a bunch of fists just off on their own, just pounding the living crap out of Moro, which is pretty hysterical. But as Moro is in dire straits, Porunga gets summoned, and that's when the first of 3 wishes is granted. The first is to heal his subordinate Cranberry because he's on his last legs, getting that last Dragon Ball and making the wish go off. And then the second wish is to give Moro all of his magic that was sealed away back to him. So he's restored to full magic power, and now Moro believes he has the upper hand because he can just drain the entire planet, no problem, and he can just consume everything around him, something that he wasn't really able to do before. He was only able to do it on a smaller scale. And Cranberry, who was promised the third wish to basically be able to get an outlying planet and just hide away, Moro's like, no, I want that third wish, and he just kills his own subordinate who has been completely loyal to him. So this guy is essentially as evil as Frieza. The only other character we've seen in Dragon Ball even comes close to as evil as Moro is Frieza, and that's why we really are getting the Namek Saga vibes over here yet again, even though we're on Namek. But at this point, the Great Lord of Lords shows himself, which was very cool. He just kind of pops out of Buu, and he's like, I'll take over from here. Now, Moro goes and flies up into space because he's like, I don't need to fight anymore. I'll just drain all of your powers from space. And Goku and Vegeta and the Great Lord of Lords go into fight. But something interesting said here, I'm just going to go over it very quickly. Vegeta tells Goku to wait. He says, we can't fight in space. But they're out there kind of in space. I guess they're like in the atmosphere. We've seen Saiyans out in the atmosphere, kind of like on the outer rim of planets out in space and be perfectly okay. So that was a little weird, but regardless, they try and fight and they can't handle Moro. Now that he has his full magic power, he's slamming everyone. Regardless of that fact, the Great Lord of Lords cannot use his sealing technique, the Kai Kai Mataru, and that's because when Buu split from Evil Buu, that split of God power basically was the cause and explanation for the Great Lord of Lords being weaker than the last time he fought Moro, and also his inability to use the Kai Kai Mataru, the magic sealing technique. However, he still has instantaneous movement, and he's able to teleport Moro down to planet Namek so that Goku and Vegeta can fight him again. Which I don't really know what they're going to do because Moro can just drain their energy yet again. And this is where Moro makes his second mistake. Instead of fighting against Goku and Vegeta, he's like, here, minions, go take over. And he plans to just sit on top of his spaceship and drain everybody's energy again, including Goku and Vegeta. He said that they were delicious morsels earlier, and his just consuming their last bit of energy even transformed his body and made him younger and gave him abs and stuff, made his beard shorter. So he's just trying to do that again. And Goku and Vegeta are back to base form yet again. At this point, they basically just have to retreat. Goku asks Moro, what are you planning? Why are you doing this? And he said, I just want to create the ideal galaxy where I can consume as many planets as I wish. Even though there's only, as we learned in Dragon Ball Super the anime, 26 planets left with mortals on them. There's not many left. And so he's going to consume all those planets in like, what, a week? And then what's he going to do when there's no life forms left in the universe? He's just going to sit there by himself in Universe 7? So we get a little bit of dialogue from Vegeta, some interesting frustration as he gets so upset with God powers and magic spells. And as Goku's like, hey, take my energy to teleport away, Vegeta says, this is where I part with you people. And he's going to go with the Galactic Patrol to planet Yardrat. This was some amazing writing here. This is something that fans want to see. Fans love Vegeta. Probably more fans like Vegeta than they do Goku. And we've been long awaiting Vegeta to get some power-ups and get on par with Goku. At least get some new sorts of techniques, maybe some stuff that Goku doesn't have, which he actually ends up getting. But this long training on planet Yardrat that Vegeta got really was extremely underwhelming in the end. They pumped it up for chapters and chapters and made Vegeta go through all sorts of these grueling training methods, and you thought that this dude was going to come out and just have like a brand new form and just have some crazy stuff. And even though it showed him getting like a power boost on Yardrat when he came to fight on Earth, Gohan and Piccolo are like, he doesn't seem like he's changed at all. So all of this hype over Yardrat was this almost for nothing. So this was extremely hyped up. At this point, I think was the peak of the Moro arc. This is when fans really started to get invested in this arc, was when they were announcing that Vegeta's going to Yardrat to get some new moves. But sadly, it was completely underwhelming. Now that Moro had basically eaten all of the energy from planet Namek, you can see that he looks very young again. No more beard, he has muscles, and this form of Moro looks great. His third wish was to release all of the goons from the Galactic Patrol, and they're scouting the universe, looking for healthy planets for Moro to go consume. We see here planet Zune, which is the planet of Poi Poi from Dragon Ball Z, from the Buu arc, so that's pretty cool. We get to see his whole race get slaughtered, and now Goku's beginning his training with Mieris, who notices that there's something strange about Mieris. He's so quick, it's like impossible to touch this guy. There's got to be something about him that I can learn from him, and we get the training with Mieris, eventually Mieris taking him to the Room of Spirit and Time. Meanwhile, the criminal Maccarini learns about planet Earth and how it has all these valuable minerals, so they're going to go to planet Earth, and that's what's eventually going to bring all of the villains to planet Earth. Mieris acknowledges that he knows what Ultra Instinct is, and it's at this point that everybody's like, oh my god, he's an angel. We started putting pictures of him next to pictures of like the Grand Priest and other angels, and he has the same facial structure. We got a coloring panel of Mieris, and he had the skin tone of an angel, and this was a huge revelation to fans, and this started getting us excited. Goku was getting trained by an angel was becoming his new sensei and teaching him how to learn Ultra Instinct. Meanwhile, we get introduced to 7-3, who is one of the most powerful of Moro's goons, and he's on a planet killing a bunch of people there, stealing an ability that can create a portal which takes him directly to Earth. They thought they were going to have 10 days to prepare, but 7-3 comes there immediately, and Piccolo gets grabbed on the neck instantly, lowering his guard down by accident, which was a little bit wonky, but whatever, and essentially Piccolo's losing this fight because 7-3 has copied not only all of his abilities, but copies his fighting tactics as well, and at the last second, Gohan comes in and saves the day. Now, Gohan's able to lay some smackdown on 7-3 because he's an expert at fighting Piccolo, which is pretty cool. He's like the ultimate counter to this level of 7-3 because Gohan has trained so much with Piccolo. It makes him the perfect counter, and he's able to kick 7-3's butt. 7-3 is a pretty interesting villain. He is an artificial being, just like the androids created by some alien life forms. He can copy abilities, he's very strong, and he also copies fighting tactics. He has infinite stamina, so he's extremely powerful. Kind of looks like Hit, not a very unique design with the exception of the triple gems in his head, but nevertheless, he's still a pretty cool villain, and it's awesome to see Gohan and Piccolo tag teaming this powerful guy. But then we get thrown for a huge curveball. As it turns out, the third gem in 7-3's head is actually Moro, who allowed himself to have his abilities copied, and now that he's able to essentially turn into a Moro clone, he's able to start draining energy from everyone. And Moro makes his third mistake here, as he could have let 7-3 drain the whole planet, kill everyone, kill Earth, but because he's greedy, he says, no, don't drain any energy, I want to eat that. And that's going to be probably his third and his ultimate mistake. Time and time again, Moro could have killed everyone. He could have killed Goku and Vegeta twice, and now he could have just easily had his goons destroy planet Earth. But he knows Goku and Vegeta are training, they're going to come back stronger, and he wants them to come back so he can drain their energy and get even more powerful. Here we learn about the law of the angels. We're learning about Mieris and basically how angels aren't able to interject. This is another huge talking point for Dragon Ball YouTubers. People love hearing about the angels, and this was really interesting to get some behind the scenes information on them, about why Whis is able to train people, but he can't fight any of these opponents, why he can't Hakai anyone, he can bring people back to life. It's like he says he's not able to get involved with mortals, but then sometimes he does, and essentially that's because the law of the angels is kind of like a rule book for what you're allowed to do and what you're not. The angels are very mysterious beings in the Dragon Ball Super universe, so this was a really cool element to interject. Also, finally revealing that Mieris is an angel, as Whis comes in to stop him from training at full power with Goku, because if he does that, if he gives full power, he will break the law of the angels and he will be erased. Meanwhile, on Yardrat, Zarbon 2.0 invades, and Vegeta just kicks the living snot out of this guy, which was pretty cool. And then all of the Earthlings, all of the Z fighters gather on Earth for the upcoming war. They were told that in 2 months' time, Moro would be returning with all of his goons, and they were basically going to wipe everyone out. He just wanted to give 2 months for Goku and Vegeta to power up so he could come and absorb their energy. And now when Gohan and Piccolo fight 7-3, they're able to beat him using combination attacks, even though 7-3 is able to get both of their powers. It was pretty cool to see that they were like, okay, you can take our powers, maybe you can deflect our powers against each other, but what are you going to do against combination attacks? And that's something that Gohan and Piccolo excel at. So they were able to defeat 7-3 with the help of the androids, who also have infinite stamina, so they're a great counter to 7-3. And then Moro arrives at the most desperate moment. The final goon of Moro's is this guy Sagambo, who Moro just keeps feeding power to go fight everyone, and because Moro's given him all this power, he's able to just wipe the floor with all of the Z fighters single-handedly. But then at the hero's desperate moment, Goku arrives, and now he can use Ultra Instinct Omen at will. So he charges into the battlefield, and he's so fast that nobody can really see him except for Moro. He completely crushes Sagambo, and this is exactly like Goku arriving on planet Namek. Goku even in the Saiyan Saga and fighting Nappa, we're getting these vibes all over again. Again, Toyotaro falling back on these classic Dragon Ball tropes and stories that we're all too familiar with, but it's okay because the real battle is about to begin. Goku and Ultra Instinct Omen, he transforms and he's like, I'll show you this new power, Moro. It's about to go down. It's always exciting to see Goku turn into Ultra Instinct. We've only seen it once in the manga, in the Tournament of Power. We've seen it in Dragon Ball Heroes. We saw Ultra Instinct Omen twice in the anime and then mastered Ultra Instinct once. And here Goku begins his battle as he's fighting a very powered up Moro, far stronger than the Moro he fought earlier, who didn't have full magic or all of the energy of the planets he had been consuming. There, Moro uses another magic ability that we hadn't seen yet. It's just basically like a binding technique that we've seen plenty of times out of Dragon Ball, as he admits that, yes, you may be fast, but if I can hold you in place, you can't dodge me. But Goku's able to break out and they just start trading blows. Now, typically when this happens against a super powerful opponent, this very much right here is just like Goku Super Saiyan Grade 4 versus Perfect Cell. In the Cell games, it's getting these vibes all over again. Even though Goku was able to land a lot of hits, he was also taking a lot of hits, and you kind of knew that even though Goku was doing well, he wasn't really going to be able to finish this thing off. It appeared that Goku was losing stamina faster, and in fact that Ultra Instinct Omen, since it's not the perfected form, puts a gigantic strain on Goku's body. Eventually that he learns that he's going to run out of stamina before he can finish Moro, so he's got to just basically go all out and give it a shot. Now, interestingly, I just wanted to point this out here, that there's a point when Moro shoots a blast at Goku, who deflects it, and then Moro appears behind Goku and puts him in a bear hug and starts crushing him. Now, when I made the Dragon Ball Super Broly fan film before the movie had come out, I did this exact same move, and it was funny because I got so many comments who were like, oh, you don't know Ultra Instinct, you can't grab Ultra Instinct because it dodges everything. Well, look at the manga, look at the canon, it happened. Continuing on, Goku starts to power up, Moro starts to power up. Again, this is feeling like Perfect Cell versus Goku in the Cell games as they clash their energies together, and Goku's trying to end this fight quickly. He can't sustain Ultra Instinct Omen much longer. He's landing tons of devastating blows on Moro, but it seems like every blow that lands on Goku takes way more out of him, and he keeps trying to power up more, even bulking his muscles up, getting like really desperate in this battle with Moro. Ultra Instinct Omen not being enough. I mean, that's pretty crazy to see how strong Moro actually is in this case. Eventually, Goku just like loses it. He falls to the ground, he loses Ultra Instinct Omen, and Moro goes in to suck out his energy, but he's saved by the androids and Vegeta. So Vegeta, fully trained in spirit control, back from planet Yardrat, the savior. Is this going to be the moment where Vegeta takes the W? This is where fans were so crazy hyped up. Yardrat Vegeta with spirit control versus Moro. This is it, guys. He's going to take the W. Fans were going nuts. This is the peak moment of the arc when everybody was going crazy for Vegeta, who starts landing hits on Moro and activating Forced Spirit Fission, a brand new technique that he learned on Yardrat, something we've never seen or heard of before, where if you land hits on somebody, any energy that you have merged with you or fused with you in any way basically gets released to its ownership. So even though it showed Vegeta got this massive power up when he was on Yardrat, as he fights Moro, he doesn't seem any different, which was extremely lackluster. But as the fight continues, he starts overpowering Moro to the point where Force Spirit Fission is taking its control, and Moro begins growing his beard yet again. The beard that he had was disappearing the more planet energy he was eating, and as Vegeta is returning all that planet energy, even reviving the Namekians that he stole the energy from, Moro's beard starts to fully come out again. And it was really, really satisfying to see Vegeta here just smacking around Moro, making him puke up all of this energy that he had drained from everywhere. And you're going crazy right now as a fan reading this for the first time. But unfortunately, this chapter goes extremely south, extremely quickly, as Moro escapes, jumps up, fries Shimareka for no reason. I don't know why he did that. And then he eats 7-3. So it turns out he had a backup of himself inside 7-3. I don't know if that's because he's an artificial being or what. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense even if he just had his abilities copied by 7-3, that he'd be a full backup or whatever. But look at this disturbing image of Moro literally eating 7-3 like a snake, and then Vegeta falling to the ground and collapsing, and he's on the ground completely KO'd. And you're just like, what? So they could have ended the arc right there. This was the pivotal moment that the Moro arc went completely downhill. So it had some flaws, Moro making mistakes, leaving Goku and Vegeta alive, some silly things with Goku and Vegeta, but for the most part, it was a phenomenal arc up until this point. Plenty of world building, new power-ups, new sensei, lots of new characters. And then at Moro's last moment, when he should have been dead and Vegeta should have gotten the W, they pull out this like random fusion out of nowhere and not only give Moro a second chance, but also change his design into something that's so simplistic and classic Dragon Ball. They removed one of the best elements of the character, and that was his unique design, and fans got entirely upset. I remember the spoiler image that came out on Twitter before the chapter was even released, and we saw this fused 7-3, and everybody was just completely and utterly dumbfounded at this. They could have saved Perfect Ultra Instinct for the next arc and just gave Vegeta the W here with Force Spirit Fission, making his entire training on Yardrat worth something, but in the end, it was completely useless. I mean, he really didn't do much besides revive the Namekians, and even in the final moments, he like just barely helped with Force Spirit Fission, leaving Vegeta in the dust now. So this fused 7-3, I mean, you can see Vegeta, he's got the Yamcha treatment here, laying on the ground in the dirt, and everybody goes in trying to fight Moro. Everybody's getting their butt kicked. Nobody can even move him an inch. It's kind of like when Perfect Cell was first formed, and you know, Krillin's flying up there, punching him in the back of the head, and it's doing nothing. That's kind of the treatment we're getting here. Goku does a last-ditch attempt effort, again like the Cell Saga, blowing off a chunk of Moro's body, who regrows his arm, and we get a very startling image here as Goku gets pierced through the chest by the regrown arm. This was extremely shocking. Again, as we got draft spoiler pages on Twitter and we saw this, we were like, what? We thought Goku might die from this. I mean, you get a hole in your chest that big, you ought to die. But Dende is there, and Krillin does have Senzu Bean, so we figure that Goku's probably going to get revived eventually, and everybody got the Yamcha treatment right now. Just on the ground, completely in the dust, but that's when Mieris shows up. And we know Mieris is an angel, and we know what he's going to do at this point. It's very clear that he's going to sacrifice his life for Goku in order for Goku to get Mastered Ultra Instinct and take the W. So as soon as Mieris shows up, you know how this arc is going to end. And that's a little disappointing because with Vegeta taking the W, it would have been something very unexpected. But with Mieris showing up, you know how the arc's going to end. It just basically spoiled the next 5 chapters or whatever was after this. You know Goku's going to turn Master Ultra Instinct and he's going to take the W somehow. And that's exactly what happened. So it was just unnecessary extra chapters that we didn't need. And this is a point when the arc went downhill. This is a point when fans were extremely pissed off. Not only this, but Goku's going to give Moro a Senzu Bean after Mieris disappears. Mieris in his last-ditch effort breaks the gems on Moro's hands and his head so that he can't use 7-3's abilities anymore. And this was a pretty satisfying way to see Mieris go. We've built up a lot of bonding over this character since the beginning of this arc. I mean, 2 years in the making, and we're seeing him basically sacrifice his life in order to shatter the gems on Moro and land some devastating blows, which essentially cripple him. So it's really sad to see him go. It's an emotional moment, and you know Goku's going to absolutely lose it here, but as Mieris told him during the training, when you have that feeling where you're going to erupt and lose it, you have to let that all go, and if you're able to do that, you will achieve Perfect Ultra Instinct, and that's exactly what happens. Mieris disappears, Goku begins transforming, this beam of light comes out, he looks up at the sky, and as he lowers his head, he's cool, he's calm, he's collected, and his hair is silver. And you know that this is pretty much the end of Moro right here. So it turns out that this entire arc, the entire point of it was essentially to give Goku the ability to turn on Perfect Ultra Instinct at will, something that we weren't sure he was ever going to be able to do again since the end of the Tournament of Power when Goku said, "I simply lost it." We didn't see it in Dragon Ball Super Broly except for that one kind of Easter egg, and Goku comes in here just landing these devastating blows and uppercuts. He lands this uppercut that's so strong it like shakes the entire planet. It's really cool to see this. Always awesome to see Mastered Ultra Instinct fight because they always like animate it just in a spectacular fashion. I'm sure when this is animated it's going to be absolutely ridiculous, so that's pretty exciting. But all of our excitement dulls down to zero as Goku gives Moro a Senzu Bean, and this is pretty much like the final straw for fans. So many silly, dumb things happen in this arc, especially the fusion, Vegeta getting the Yamcha treatment, and now Goku just giving Moro a Senzu Bean. Everybody was just straight, WTF, what is Toyotaro doing? Now it turns out that the Senzu Bean was basically completely useless as Moro charges in and tries to punch Goku and like basically shatters his hand on Goku's chest, just showing how powerful Perfect Ultra Instinct is, which is kind of neat in its own right because it's showing that like his power level has just gone up like times a million. I mean, it's just crazy that if you try and punch him, your hand will shatter on him. Like that's how tough his body has gotten to compensate the God power. But like obviously Goku should have learned from Perfect Cell. He saw what happened when he gave Perfect Cell a Senzu Bean and didn't eat one himself. And, you know, he knows Moro has all this crazy magic. A lot of it he still probably hasn't shown yet. And this is just major character regression for Goku. And fans were just entirely pissed off. I could rant about this for hours, but I think every Dragon Ball fan can agree with me that the entire Senzu Bean predicament was precarious. It gave Moro yet another chance as he sees the hand that Mirus sliced off. Still had his God power in it since he grabbed the back of his neck, and now he's going to fuse that hand onto him and gain God power. So now we have Ultra Instinct Moro versus Perfect Ultra Instinct Goku, and we get a very brief but epic battle between the two of them. It's very, very short-lived. I would have liked to see this drawn out a little bit more, but regardless, this arc has gone on way too long, so I'm kind of happy with it going quick. They're flying circles around the planet. This is going to be really, really cool when it's animated, but it was kind of easy to tell what was going to happen because Goku had to go through such extraordinary training to get Ultra Instinct to the point where it didn't damage his body. He kind of knew that, and he wasn't worried. You could tell in his face he wasn't worried when he got Mirus' power that Moro's body wouldn't be able to handle the God power. And with every attack that Goku lands on him, his body tries to compensate, growing and expanding, and eventually he just fuses with the planet, which was another WTF moment. Mountain Moro, Planet Moro, whatever you want to call it. He fused with the planet since his body couldn't compensate it. And I remember when we got the draft pages for this, everybody was freaking out. What exactly is going on in Dragon Ball Super? What is Toyotaro smoking? Well, at least it turns out that the final chapter in this arc was really cool. And I think fans really loved Toyotaro's design for Mountain Moro, how this all wrapped up. Unfortunately, Beerus didn't come in. We got teased yet again. He was about to come in, and then he got called by the Great Priest. But then Vegeta comes in, and he starts punching the ground, using Force Spirit Fission to expose the gem on Moro's head and allow Goku to fly in and try and shatter that gem. He knows that's what he has to do because Whis told him to essentially destroy Moro. Now, we had thought that Vegeta could just do this at any time. As soon as he fused with the planet, Vegeta could just simply sit there and just punch the ground until Moro died. But basically, Moro was able to drain the planet's energy faster than Vegeta could use Force Spirit Fission. So Goku is the only hope here as he darts towards Moro. We've got this just amazing panels and art from Toyotaro. I did a full review on this chapter if you want to read it on my channel. But we conclude with the power of friendship as everybody lends their energy, including little Oob. We got this nice little cameo from him here in the end, which was great to see. Vegeta has this giant ball of energy, throws it to Goku, who turns into Susanoo, a giant Goku made of God Ultra Instinct energy, which just crushes Moro, giving Goku the opportunity to fly in, shatter the gem, and save the entire galaxy. It was a great finale. I really like how Toyotaro wrapped it up, considering all things said. And again, this arc could have ended so much sooner in so many different ways. It was dragged on. There was a lot of horrible writing near the end. An arc which started out really, really solid with a couple little errors that were indiscernible ended up just going completely haywire. Toyotaro, I guess he started to lack his ability to write some fresh new content past what he had written since the beginning of the arc, and because of that he started to fall back on old Dragon Ball stories like the Namek Saga and the Cell Saga, taking things like Goku with the point blank Kamehameha to blow off an arm, Goku giving Moro a Senzu Bean when he's on his last legs. It was way too similar to previous arcs, although I do still think it was the best arc of Dragon Ball Super. I mean, I like the Beerus arc, the first arc of Dragon Ball Super. It was a little bit short-lived, but it was a really good introduction to the world building of the gods and everything, so I really liked the first arc. The Resurrection F was completely useless and nonsense in my opinion. The Goku Black arc was okay. It had its own questionable writing. And the Tournament of Power, I feel like could have been so much better. Instead of being a battle royale, it could have been like a Tenkaichi style tournament. And a lot of other things could have gone differently in that as well. But I mean, I was pretty happy with Tournament of Power. It was just a little bit too kid-friendly. I would have appreciated it to be a little bit more dark like the Moro arc was, with kind of more death and things like that. So in terms of depth, by far the Moro arc is the king. The unfortunate part is Toyotaro just simply wrote himself into a hole. He dragged it on too long. He should have given Vegeta the W. He should have given Vegeta a power-up, and he should have saved Mira sacrificing himself to give Goku Ultra Instinct, perfect Ultra Instinct, for the next arc and the next enemy. So now what is he going to write next? I have absolutely no idea how he can write anything that tops this, because he literally did everything in this arc. So what's left? We'll have to wait and see. Overall, I'd give this arc maybe a 6 or 7 out of 10. It had a lot of highlight moments, but there was just so much bad writing and mistakes made, especially after the fusion, that just completely crippled all of the hard work that went into this arc. If you guys made it to the end of this video, you're the true MVP. I'm Mastar. Thanks for stopping by. Please leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment on what you would rate this arc out of 10, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys on the next video.